All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, we got a pretty rare thing. We got a big, typical buck that's killed on public land in Alabama. And pretty rare because there's very few bucks in Alabama, especially on public land killed, that make it to Boone and Crockett record book. Last time I looked, there's only 34 deer in Boone and Crockett record book from Alabama. And you got some states that'll put in 100 a year or more, so like Wisconsin and such. But anyway, we're gonna look at this big old typical, and we're at the house of Nicholas Landers, better known as Nick Landers, and he's a big public land hunter in Alabama, not heard of as much. He kind of keep it on the down low, but he let us come in and look at some of his big old deer, and we're gonna do a little talk with him about his hunting strategy, and he hunts on the ground a lot, so key. But we're gonna look at some of his deer and walk through. He's got a nice house, got a cabin style house, barn dominium style, and a big old pig there. Very nice big buck there. So got some more over here on this wall, just big deer. So he's got 2 or 3 more at the taxidermist waiting on to get mounted. So he got some, I mean, he's got a variety of big old typical bucks, you know, just crazy. So, but he's a big public land hunter. There's more there. So we've come in to talk about this big old deer. This is a big, huge, typical 12 point. Just, I mean, you just don't see that much, and it's something like Iowa or Illinois type of deer. Just very big. Scored over 180. Typical. I mean, just perfect 6x6, good mass, long bane length, and he's got a real neat mount, that 3/4 or half body mount. So very neat. But you just don't. I mean, that's crazy how big that is and be a typical. So anyway, it's only well, it's got one little sticker here that would have measured, you know, but that would have been a deduction for Boone and Crockett. So, but we're gonna get set up and let him tell us a little story about it. And talk about his hunting style, so, and maybe he'll tell us a few secrets, but we'll see. All right, y'all, we're standing here with Nick and this monster buck. Man, what's crazy about this buck is it's a typical 6x6 with a sticker, huge mass, and I got to looking at the Boone and Crockett website, and this is the number 3 typical out of Alabama. So it's all-time record book for Boone and Crockett. You know, over 170 something inches. I think it grows from 180.
186 for non-typical and 184 for typical.
Wow, so that's a big buck. So, I mean, you just don't see this typical 6x6 frame, just perfect looking, with the exception of the sticker. But I mean, just especially for Alabama. But hey, I mean, it's amazing. So Nick's gonna tell us how he shot it. It's gonna cool story because he shot it off the ground, you know, and you don't hear a lot of talk about people hunting on the ground that much anymore. Especially for a young cat, because you're what, 20 what?
29.
29 and hunting on the ground and hunting with his wife and kill this thing. So go ahead and tell us the story about it.
So a lot of times I like to hunt off the ground. You know, sometimes you walk a mile and a half. Tree stand gets kind of you know, a little bit of a nuisance at that distance, you know, sweating and all, getting in there and making your scent worse. A lot of places, you know, on the hillsides, you just have a lot easier setup just to sit on the ground. I've climbed a tree before and been able to look over and, you know, you're looking eye to eye where the deer would be. So I just got where I like to sit on the ground a lot. And this particular morning, it was 2017, 2018. Me and my wife used to try to go the day after Christmas. She was usually always off work. We'd go hunting, and we loaded up that morning. I said, "Hey, let's go to a piece of public ground." I said, "Let's try that." She'd never been out there, so she was like, "Okay." So we went on up there, started walking in. Luckily, it was still dark walking in, or she would have never agreed to go down the hillside of the bluff that we went in. She's not a big fan of heights, but either way, we went in there and got set up. And like I said, sat on the ground, like scrape the leaves back so I don't make no noise. Get set up and seen some pigs. About 9 o'clock. You know, kind of nothing else. Not really a whole lot of deer activity that morning. Wasn't in particularly good weather. Real cold, real warm. Just kind of an average day for December, the end of December there. And I'd say about 9:30, the pigs. It was actually just a bunch of little piglets had broke off from a group. They they kind of circled around behind us, and I heard something come off the side of the hill on the bench beside us, on down to the thick stuff, and you know, we were sitting there. I thought, well, here comes some more pigs, and they kind of got the rest of the group pushed up, and I hear what I thought was a pig at the time, which was him doing what some people describe as like a buck roar, just a super loud, you know, beller and grunt, and quickly noticed that here come a doe running down the bench in front of me, kind of right to us, and I seen some other deer behind her, and they was full on chasing, you know, and he was right behind her, and two younger bucks right behind them, and luckily I didn't have the time to catch buck fever because it all happened so quick, and kind of seen he had a good set of horns on him, and I threw the rifle up to get ready, and noticed that I had zoomed in when I'd seen the pigs on the other ridge. Although they had walked right to me, I never turned my zoom back down, and I quickly reached up and ripped it one way, and it was the wrong way. And I still threw the rifle up, and as soon as I got hair, I shot him. He folded up real quick, and then all the, you know, the kind of motion set in that when you jump up and run down there to make sure you don't get up and run away, kind of how big he really was. So it's just an area I'd been hunting for a while, and not running any cameras in particularly, but he just knew there was some good deer in there, some good sign, kind of a good genetics area where there's been historically some good deer, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because I'm sure he had several miles of travel range.
What'd your wife think about it? She excited about it? Or?
Oh yeah, she was big-eyed and, you know, really excited. I was real surprised. She was a big help. She helped me drag him for a little ways. Had to actually call some more help in to get him on out, but she carried the rest of the stuff out and was all in on it. Wow. She loved it. She was about as excited as I was with it. We both took pictures with him before we got him field dressed and ready to pack out.
Wow, I bet. Did you get age on him?
I've got part of a jawbone and a lot of different stories. People were trying to tell me he was a lot younger than I would have expected. Wow. Somebody threw out 3.5 and 4.5 at the latest, but they just one portion of the jawbone that was cut off the processor is the only thing I've got. I don't particularly see 3.5 in this deer by no means, but
no, I wouldn't think so.
I just told him, I said, y'all must have cut the jaw that he didn't chew on that side very much, you know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope it'd be 5 anyway. Probably maybe 6. That mass just don't, for a 3-year-old, would be hard to deal with.
He just didn't have a lot of tooth wear on the one side they cut off. And from the people I'd talked to, and a lot of people, you know, you kill a pretty decent deer. A lot of people have pictures of him, a couple miles down the ridges and hills and hollers over, and you start finding out that they've been watching him for a couple of years, and that's just how it always goes. Right. Some people run cameras, some don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very impressive buck regardless. I mean, you know, just the mass is crazy, and these bladed looking brow tines, it's just a cool character buck. Again, that dang typical frame is just amazing. So you don't do any calling or anything like that? So.
From time to time, especially around pre-rut and in the rut, I'll hit a Blake cam from time to time, some grunts, and, you know, occasionally it'll work, but especially when they start chasing, there's just nothing better than that. Right. Set some trails and hope for the best.
Setting trails. Y'all set up. You setting like higher in the mornings?
Sometimes. This one particular area, I don't know if it's thermals change from time to time, but try to set higher in the mornings, lower in the evenings. But these deer have their patterns in there, and I've seen them. You know, that make you wonder and question yourself from time to time when you think you got them figured out where they're going to be when, and they'll throw you for a loop and come from the whole different direction. You know, walk with the wind, against the wind, and they'll have you picked out before you even know what's going on. Yeah, that's right. That's how they get so big, is just being unpredictable. So if they was too predictable, they wouldn't get to this. So. That's right. So it's crazy. So what's your favorite time of year? You like bow hunting better, or you just gun hunting? Or? Well, I like to bow hunt, but really when it gets, I love pre-rut in the rifle season. Not when they're necessarily running wide open, but when you can catch a good buck cruising before he really breaks from his home range a whole lot. That way, wherever he's been laying sign, you know, about 9:30. Good cold morning in the pre-rut's about my favorite time.
Good. You see, but you do like bow hunting to an extent. So.
Oh yeah, I'll hunt from the day season opens to the day it ends, as long as I got a tag left to fill.
That's the way I am. You know, try to do all of it can. So, what about any kind of crazy stories, any scared stories, you know, any unusual predicaments that you just didn't like or couldn't explain or kind of got scared?
Well, there's a lot of them mountain stories. We don't necessarily talk about them, but the biggest fear up there is hunting with pigs, or any piece of property that's got pigs on it. In this area where I killed him at, there's a little shelf that you walk through and get down on to walk around, and there was a group of pigs bedded down there, and it was just barely gray light in the morning. And I walked through and it done cut my light off because I was within 100 yards where I was going to set up. And I would say within 5 to 10 yards of about 30 pigs before either one of us realized we were there. And I've been charged before, especially during like turkey season, and not a good feeling, especially when you got 20 or 30 of them and you're all in them before they realize you're there, and you don't know how they're going to react.
Right.
So that's probably the worst thing, is hunting around pigs.
Yeah, I've had a few incidents with them, but I've had some other scenarios where I got scared pretty good and it didn't involve pigs. But that's something else. When I was in the mountains, you could hear all kinds of stories and stuff, you know, scare tactics and just maybe people playing jokes or something like that. But
Sometimes you hope it is.
yeah, sometimes you hope it is. Man, this is a crazy awesome buck, and this guy, to be not even 30, has got several very nice public land bucks, and you know, it just, you haven't really heard of him. Most people, he kind of keeps it on the down low, which is fine. You can't blame him for that. But these babies like this, boy, we just love people seeing this, because this is what can happen on public land if you control yourself and, you know, pass some young ones every now and then. So, and this is what it gets, and it's amazing, because I don't know if I've seen a typical 12 like this. That's, you know, I've seen some big ones, but that's the way that mask is and how uniform it is. Just crazy. So that's a goal now. I'm going to try to figure out where I can find one that's a 6x6. So, because I don't know if I've ever had a picture of one that's like that. So.
I haven't either. It's just one of those. It was a little bit of putting my time in and spending time in the woods and finding a good area, but a lot of it had to do with a little luck on that.
Yeah, putting yourself in the situation, that's the biggest thing. And like you say, you knew there was good bucks in the area, and then put your time in and put a little time in with your wife, and had an amazing memory. You won't never forget that.
Oh, no.
That's what's incredible about it, sharing it like that with your wife. So, you know, I'm proud of that. Like, we like hunting, you know, I hunt with my wife, and we share a lot of experiences. So there's nothing better than that. So your little girl you got is gonna grow up and she's gonna get into the same situations.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Well, I appreciate talking to you, and we appreciate you letting us see this big old monster, and we're going to get out of here, and we appreciate it, man. Again, congratulations on a monster buck, and we'll see y'all soon.